When we talk about cybersecurity for the electric infrastructure, we have to distinguish between two categories of threats. There are threats that are known threats, and we can develop mitigation strategies to prevent attacks from such threats. And there are unknown threats. Unknown threats come from sophisticated hackers typically, whether it be nation states or organizations, or it could be a disgruntled employee from within an organization, or it could be an industrial espionage ring that creates ways of getting into your system, ways that the cybersecurity team of the organization may not be aware of. So if we think about these two types of threats, the known threats are much easier to deal with. You put the appropriate cybersecurity mitigation strategies through firewalls, through intrusion detection systems, through antivirus servers, through access control lists. Those are some of the ways. You can do whitelisting of applications to make sure that applications with bad code in them are not there. Firewalls help identify who the right person is and what application that they're coming and check against a policy table. Antivirus servers, so if you have malware, spyware, phishing schemes, those kinds of things can be filtered out by the antivirus server. An intrusion detection system that detects for signatures for specific types of attacks that are known. So these are some of the mitigation strategies for known threats. But that still does not address the problem that exists from advanced persistent threats, or things known as APTs, that typically nation states or organizations do. Or just an unknown hack that has no head or tail, and it's very difficult for a cybersecurity organization to figure out. For this type of threat, it is very important to have situational awareness. Intrusion detection is one way of doing situational awareness. But unfortunately, if we rely on just signature-based intrusion detection, we don't catch the hacks that occur without those signatures. Signatures means that a particular attack has occurred repeatedly and there's a pattern, and that pattern is recognizable. That is what signature is. But if a hacker is sophisticated enough to keep varying their type of attack, then the signature is not known. In this case, there are other metrics that can be used. For instance, we can look at the transaction that the user is undertaking and look at their job description and figure out whether that transaction for a particular application is relevant to their job or not. So even though they may have compromised a trusted system, but because of what they're doing from that trusted system, the intrusion detection system can identify that this individual from this job position should not be doing XYZ transaction, and therefore block it. How do you block it? Tell the firewall that cut the session of this individual. So I don't know who the person is, but I know what they're doing is wrong relative to the application. This is a more sophisticated way of looking at an organization. Now, you can't just do that with the flip of a switch. This requires proper architecture of the entire network and making sure that the network is segmented properly and that the segmentation is there by business function so that the network is as quiet as possible. You want to avoid broadcast storms. You want to avoid traffic on segments that is not necessary. So architecting the network first correctly is the first thing you have to do. And then putting the appropriate intrusion detection systems so that you can capture both the known threats and identify the unknown threats. If your network is noisy, if you have too many applications running with too many protocols running, it's very difficult to detect a nefarious act. But if you have a properly segmented network and hyper quiet, you can then see an anomaly like a sore thumb. It is very important as you work in this field of cybersecurity, pertaining especially to the electric infrastructure, because it's not just like an internet where if there's a hack, the internet goes away for an hour or two. When it's the electric system, it means the unavailability of electricity, which can be life-threatening. So it is of a different level of mission criticality than anything else we have in our economy, maybe short of water or fire prevention methods. So it is very important to address the cybersecurity issue and not do it by just traditional methods of firewalls and intrusion detections and antivirus, but to have a more sophisticated approach that deals with both the known threats and the unknown threats.